Let's rock. What's going on, everyone? Take It 3 podcast back here again. Tuesday evening, just fresh off of Monday Night Football. Pretty disappointing Monday night for us too as Eagles fans. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it was pretty lackluster. Kind of got bullied at home. It was weird to see, but I mean, I guess every team nowadays, nobody's really going undefeated in the modern NFL, it seems. I mean, we watched the Patriots attempt to do it. They stayed ridiculously healthy throughout that year. It just doesn't seem obtainable in today's football league. We saw the Bills drop one again. We'll get into that as well. It's interesting. AFC East is slowly spicing up with the Dolphins now jumping in the first place. We watched the Cowboys get humbled. So as soon as the Cowboys fans try to jump on us, you guys lost to the Packers pretty equally as embarrassing considering what the Packers were, both bad losses. Everything else throughout the league, I mean, Tom Brady's 2-0 since getting divorced. He goes to Germany, gets a W. I guess he figured something out with out Giselle. Obviously, dude, the Falcons, I don't know what the hell that was in that slot fest Thursday night. Really bad game to watch. The Lions eke out a win. Titans do it again. Chiefs covered. Dolphins pretty remarkable. Giants get back on the winning track. So I mean, how are you feeling coming off week 10? Tough loss for the Eagles, but all things considered, what did you like about week 10?
Yeah, and kind of a crazy weekend of football. Eagles lost. I think we both went 6-7 on the spread, so just under 500. But it was a pretty fun weekend. I got to actually have a Sunday off and watch football all day. The Vikings Buffalo game was absolutely ridiculous. That was such a fun game. That might be game of the year so far. We're halfway through the season. That would definitely be my vote. But yeah, interesting weekend of football. And then all of a sudden the divisions get a little more interesting, like the both East, NFC and AFC. No one's really safe yet in those divisions.
Yep. So let's jump over. Wow, it skips through. Yeah, we'll jump in. First topic on the docket, obviously the only undefeated team in the league, the Eagles. We were 8-0 going into last night. Kind of get bullied, struggled to get off the field. A lot of third downs, a lot of just long drives by Washington. It looks similar to what we did to teams earlier in the year throughout this entire season, to be honest. Mo teams down with the run game, get the O-line going. Play action passes, just able to convert third downs. I mean, at one point when I was watching, I don't think they had a third down longer than 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 for a while. They were like 10 for 14. So it was just drives getting extended. Obviously, missed calls. They'll get harped on the face mask on Dallas Goedert. And then the kind of the one at the end. I mean, the more you watch it, it's kind of ticky-tacky, especially when the guy gets up and celebrates like he just won the Lombardi trophy after getting roughed. It's like, I don't, as a ref, I don't know if I can call that. But I mean, we're 8-1. We're bound to lose at some point. What do you make of last night's loss?
Yeah, so sloppy game, not a good performance for the Eagles, but kind of felt like they were trying to hit big plays at the beginning quite a bit. And, you know, the funny thing is they started hot, right? Quick strip sack, got a quick touchdown. It felt like, oh, here come the Eagles 8-0. And then it didn't really work out that way. Believe it or not, he's only a rookie, Jordan Davis, but this was a game that I feel like his absence was felt. He's just so big, and they allow him, when he's on the field, it allows them to do more interesting things with the D-line. The good news is he's not out for the season. He's going to miss a few more weeks. He'll be back, but I think the loss as a whole is going to be a good thing for the Eagles. It takes the talk away from the undefeated season, takes pressure off. And I think A.J. Brown was talking about it, how they got punched in the mouth. It's about how they respond. And, like, I'm not worried at all about this team. They've won in so many good ways this year. I definitely would be worried if they have back-to-back poor performances. I think they get an Indianapolis Colts team that is not very good this year next week. And if they have a bad week next week, then I would start to show some concern. But I think overall this could be a really good thing for the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of turnovers. It doesn't really matter how much skill or how many skill players you have on your side at the end of the day. When it comes down to when you have 3 fumbles and you lose all 3 of those, one could obviously be negated with a face mask, but it wasn't because that's not reviewable. So the 3 fumbles, all loss, and an interception, that's 4 turnovers. I think we lost, but I think it was -3 on the turnover differential. When you're playing a worse team, if you give them 3 extra possessions, it's going to change the game. Yeah, the run defense is definitely a concern. I mean, it doesn't get any easier this week. We know what Jonathan Taylor can do. We saw what he did against the Raiders. So, I mean, you could look for Jeff Saturday and the Colts, who I thought wasn't a real head coach. He kind of put something together and beat the Raiders, who beat Josh McDaniels, who he might not be a real coach, but the scheme, I mean, it could be very similar, right? Jeff Saturday's probably looking at that tape and saying this is a matchup we can expose. Jonathan Gannon, I'm interested to see how he adjusts. Maybe some more 4-3, maybe get another linebacker in. Maybe it's time to let Nakobe Dean and have 3 linebackers out there to kind of shore up some gaps on the inside. It was tough. I mean, it's one of those. I left and walked away from it. It's one of those games. They're going to happen. You're not going undefeated anyway. So I'd rather lose now than it be in January at home in a playoff game. So, I mean, it happens. I'm moving on, ready for week 11.
Yeah, we've seen it with other teams this year. Bills already have 3 losses. The Chiefs lost to the Colts at one point. So, I mean, it happens. It's one of those weeks. Plus, we can't undersell like Washington. At the end of the day, they're 5-5. It's a tough division, and divisional games are always tough.
Yep. Okay, let's move on. We've talked about it, man. Josh Allen turned the ball over. Minnesota was able to remarkably come back down 27-13 at one point. Justin Jefferson, I was about to call him Josh Jefferson. Justin Jefferson makes probably the catch of the year so far. I don't even know if anybody will top it. The catch is ridiculous. Dalvin Cook added another 119 on the ground. I mean, it was one of those games, dude. The Bills found a way to lose the Josh Allen turnovers, the interceptions, the fumble in the end zone. It's kind of one of those things, right? You can have the better team on paper, similar to Monday Night Football, and if you turn the rock over, especially at home, it's gonna cost you a game. What do you make of this? Are you kind of starting to sell a little bit of Bills stock, or is it? I mean, it's getting dicey in Minnesota, or not Minnesota, in Buffalo. So what are you making of Josh Allen, Buffalo? Are you kind of selling some of their stock as far as the winning the AFC?
I am selling a little bit of their stock, to be honest, because like you look up, all of a sudden they're in third place in an extremely competitive division. This game, though, they were up 17 late in the third quarter. After they scored, the very next play, or the first offensive play for Minnesota, was a Dalvin Cook 80-yard touchdown rush, let him right back in the game. Then Josh Allen drives all the way down the field. You feel kind of superhuman with Josh Allen on your team. They don't kick a field goal. Minnesota gets the ball back, drives down, scores again. There was just some questionable decisions from Buffalo, and then it leads into Josh Allen. He throws an interception late in the game to seal it in overtime, but before that, he had another interception to Patrick Peterson, and then he chased down Patrick Peterson and like lowered his shoulder, and like it was his shoulder that's been hurt and that he's getting nursing. There's just certain things that Josh Allen does, and you're like, whoa. Like he was on the ground after that play and they had to like call timeout and everything. I was like, what's going on? Like he's the franchise quarterback. Why would you go and tackle and lean in like that? It was just kind of puzzling. And it's just those certain decisions that kind of make me worry about Josh Allen, because last year he had Brian Dable. And I know that could be a little bit of me stretching it, but like Brian Dable's not there anymore. And all of a sudden Josh Allen's making more mistakes like he was previous to Brian Dable in his young career. So it's like, I'm not out on the Bills by any means. Like when they play well, they could be the best team in football, but like they make me really nervous at this point. Like if you made me pick an AFC team, I'm picking the Chiefs for sure, because I have much more faith in Mahomes to make better decisions than Josh Allen. But yeah, I am selling a little bit of Bills stock. They do make me nervous, and I'm buying more of Minnesota stock because they keep figuring out how to win. It was really impressive, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo, they got to clean it up. They got to find ways to get things back on track. They've looked bad over the past couple of weeks. Josh Allen in particular has looked pretty bad, pretty sloppy, and it's not what we really expect, right? They came out of the gates so hot. Josh Allen looked like, I mean, the best quarterback in football, and now we're kind of X amount of weeks down the road, and it's like he's back to the year one mistakes, with especially the fumble, the snap fumble thing. I don't know what the hell that was, and then the throwing the interception to Patrick Peterson in the red zone was just brutal in the end. But yeah, I mean, Minnesota, they keep finding ways that we'll see. They're good at the 1 o'clock games. Let's see when you get Kirk Cousins in the primetime games, what he's looking like. We know the history is there, but yeah, I mean, Minnesota, they're 8-1, right? You got to take them serious, regardless of what we think of Kirk Cousins. They got the weapons, right? They have everything out there on offense that you would look for. And I guess Patrick Peterson turned back the clock, and he's kind of back to Cardinals Patrick Peterson, and he's doing his thing. So yeah, the Vikings are a legitimate team now, for sure, in the NFC, and maybe in a wide open NFC. Who knows who's going to win it, right?
Yeah, it does feel wide open. And the thing I'll say about Minnesota is that like they're comeback kids. They keep trailing in the fourth and they keep coming back and winning. But at the same time, that's playing with fire. And as good as Kirk Cousins has been, he has thrown quite a few interceptions this year. So it's just, something to monitor for Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, that should have run out at some point as well. If you keep getting down 17 points, 14 points over and over and over and over, yeah, the luck will definitely run out. Let's move on. As we mentioned, dude, the first place 7-3 Dolphins. Jeff Wilson looks like a legitimate, like a genius. This decision to add him. It's heard about Kareem Hunt. I kind of alluded with some other people. Maybe they go add Kareem Hunt, but then you know what I mean. They go out get Jeff Wilson, and that has really brought the backfield back. Raheem Mostert even adds in 65 yards and a touchdown, but Jeff Wilson's gave them a legitimate run game, and then Tua, man, he's slinging the ball around 285, 3 touchdowns, no picks, clean football, right? He has the weapons out there. What do you make of the Dolphins? Do you think, I mean, now it's inching. Obviously, they both have 3 losses. The Dolphins have the win over the Bills. Could the Dolphins legitimately take this division? They have everything, and they seem to be peaking and playing clean football every week, while Buffalo kind of plays turnover happy and sloppy football.
Yeah, I think they are 100% in play to win the division. I could very easily see them playing the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I'm that high on Miami right now, simply because the offense might be the best in the league. They've been so phenomenal, just those receivers, all that speed. The defense at times has looked lackluster, at times has looked very good. But to me, it's the offense. And like, yes, they have 3 losses, but the important thing to remember is like they're undefeated when Tua plays. When Tua is there and starts and finishes a full game, obviously, because he did play part of that Bengals game that they lost. But like when he starts and finishes a full game, there's like a swagger about them. There's a confidence about them. Their offense can go toe to toe with anybody in the league. They might be the best offense in the league. It's an incredible turnaround. Obviously, they added like Tyreek Hill, Jeff Wilson, and key weapons from last year and a new coaching staff. But like what Tua's done and the coaching staff's done, it's just Miami's been so impressive. I did not expect this out of them this year. I thought they could definitely be a wild card team. But the fact that they are, halfway through the season, they're leading the AFC East while Josh Allen and the Bills are there and they already beaten them, it's been incredibly impressive. And the number 1 offense in the league right now. So it's like, yeah, I'm high on Miami. I think they have the ability to do it, although not a lot of experience in like big playoff moments for Miami. So I don't think I would ride with them and pick them, but I definitely think they can.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Miami, they have everything. This is a week as well, right? They didn't need to hit any big plays down the field with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They just kind of did their thing. They played smart football, worked it underneath. I believe no big plays. Their longest pass play was a 29-yarder to Waddle. So, I mean, they showed they can beat you deep. They can use the run game. I like where Miami's at. Obviously, I like their defense. And Mike McDaniel, he's a legit head coach, I'd say. They made the smart decision going out and getting that guy. And he seems to have the offense right where you wanted. He's getting really now with Jeff Wilson getting into that San Francisco bag with the motion, the running, and the play action passing. Everything's working for Miami. The odds right now, though, they're still like 2-1 underdogs to win the AFC East. The Bills are still favored as of now. So we'll see how it goes, man. Another week, they could be inching their way closer to win that. Let's move on. Another embarrassing loss. The Cowboys. It just seems like Aaron Rodgers, dude. If he plays the Cowboys or he plays the Bears, he's going to find a way to get a W, right? He finds another one. It's really Dak Prescott, untimely turnovers, bad coaching decisions, going for it, and then slamming headsets by Mike McCarthy. That was hilarious to watch. But Tony Pollard did his thing. CeeDee Lamb was out there, but it's turnovers, man. Dak Prescott threw one right before half in the end zone, which is ugly and bad. And they just find ways to lose, right? They find ways to lose to Aaron Rodgers. They dropped to 6-3. And the Packers kind of get a glimmer of hope. I really don't think anything. I mean, the big thing for them was Christian Watson looked really good. I mean, he's kind of had his ups and downs, dropping balls, obviously dropped the first play of the season, which could have been a touchdown, which kind of set a chain reaction of events for what this season would be for Packers fans. But it seems like he put it together. The guy's legitimately fast. It's good to see the hands go. What do you make of the Cowboys losing at Lambeau to Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, it's a concerning loss for Dallas if I'm a Cowboys fan. For the Packers, like maybe they found something with Christian Watson's young guy. Second half of the season they can build on. He's a physical freak, so like maybe they found something. But for Dallas, it's pretty concerning. The run defense is not really there. They were able to run the ball really well. Dak did not look good. The red zone interception that you already mentioned, that was really bad. That put him in a really bad spot. I think if Dallas goes up way early in this game, I feel like they could cruise to victory. And like Green Bay just got confidence against them. Aaron Rodgers loves playing Dallas, and like those interceptions kept them in the game, and all of a sudden halftime is 14-14, right? And then even then, I was sitting there watching this game at halftime thinking, okay, they haven't played well. Dak threw 2 interceptions. I still feel good about the Cowboys covering by 5 points. They went up by 14 points, and then they never scored again, right? 28-14, and then Green Bay scored 17 unanswered to win the game. And it's pretty concerning for Dallas, the interceptions for Dak, and then the coaching decisions that you already mentioned by Mike McCarthy. At times, it kind of felt like he was coaching just to show Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. Kind of got like, instead of making like smart coaching decisions, and it cost his team. Like I don't have confidence in this Cowboys team moving forward. They have a phenomenal defense. For once this season, they did not play like they should have played. And like, to me, going forward on 4th and 2 in that scenario, like, why? Green Bay has not been good this year. Their offense is finally having a spark this game against you. Like, your defense has been phenomenal. Like, show them you got confidence and faith in them. Kick the field goal and then get a defensive stop. But no, poor coaching decisions. I'm not totally surprised by Dallas. And yeah, it's pretty concerning if you're the Cowboys move forward. They better win next week against Minnesota, or all of a sudden they're 6-4 in 3rd place in the division.
Yeah, exactly. That is one thing that you got to look at, right? Both teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys, lost. We go into a Colts game. They head right back into the trenches to play the Minnesota Vikings. Considerably harder matchup, but yeah, it's bad. I mean, they have a super aggressive defense. Sometimes it works, right? They really go after the ball. They play super ball hawk heavy, going after the football with the aggressiveness. And when it works, it looks great. And when it doesn't, it obviously looks how it looked on Sunday. They weren't able to force any turnovers out of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones had his way on the ground. They couldn't stop the run. They commit a lot of penalties, right? So that's one thing. When you commit a lot of penalties as a team, you have turnovers, and you just can't get off the field. You can't stop the run. That's a recipe to lose. Yeah, I mean, I don't trust Mike McCarthy. I didn't trust him before they were 6-2. I don't care if they're 8-0. I don't care if they're 12-0. I'm not trusting Mike McCarthy regardless. The guy's a bonehead. He slammed his helmet slammed the headset like somebody else made the call. And it's like, dude, you made the call, right? You wanted to show up Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay fans in Green Bay, and it failed. So, I mean, you got to put that on your shoulders, right? Bad decision. As you mentioned, you got a kicker who could definitely make that field goal. Probably have more confidence in him hitting that than a Mason Crosby lining up and having to hit that. And they don't do it. They basically handed Aaron Rodgers the game, look like fools. 6-3. They got a tough game next week in Minnesota. As you said, drop 6-4. Suddenly you're now another game behind the Giants. Like, it looks worse and worse for the Cowboys. They're tough to trust. A lot of talent, but when they do stuff like that, it's hard to trust them.
And the thing with Dallas is, like, you lose to Minnesota, and all of a sudden it's a Thanksgiving game against the New York Giants divisional game. It's going to be a close competitive game. It's just like, I don't know, you blink and all of a sudden Dallas is not looking as close to 500. So things happen fast.
Yep. Early line is Dallas is a 1-point favorite this week, 7-point favorite Thanksgiving. We'll see how things change over the coming weeks. Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all I have on the docket as far as like slides. Any other games? Obviously, the Falcons screwed us. As I mentioned, Tom Brady, he's 2-0 since getting divorced. The guy learned how to play football after the marriage thing ended. We went good in the middle pack there, right? We went on a little streak there. Got some hopes up. Bears. Justin Fields looked really good again, to be honest. Besides for one dumbass pass, which was right to Jeff Okuda, which is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen. But I mean, that dude's legitimate. I mean, if he just gets to throwing down, he's seeming to get the confidence each week, and the legs. I mean, he is just legitimately faster than these defenders out there. Steelers did what we think, and then the backstretch, man, holy shit. The Raiders, the Cowboys, the Rams, and the Niners. I mean, that was one of those where we kind of said last week, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Herbert is good enough to cover. They lose by what? I think it was 6. There's 1 point less. Yeah, but any other games that kind of caught your eye and spreads that you're mad about, or did I basically touch on all of them, since we're all we had the same exact picks this week?
Yeah, then the Niners kicked a field goal on like 4th and goal at the end of the game, so they almost covered there. The Raiders, I mean, Josh McDaniels, like, he's got to go, dude. Jeff Saturday's never coached. Like, he's got to go. You can't lose that football game. That's embarrassing. The Bears, like, Justin Fields, like, you pretty much nailed it. But like, Sunday made me think, like, man, what if the Niners drafted Justin Fields and he had him in that run heavy game? Like, that would have been really cool. That's a fun Madden simulation. But yeah, I mean, the only other thing is, like, if I knew the Rams Cardinals would have been both backups, I would have taken Cardinals because they actually have a backup quarterback. The backup for the Rams is not even an NFL serviceable quarterback. He's terrible. So that game was atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fuck the Rams. That's all I'll say, dude. Like, now Cooper Cup's done. There's literally not a
They're not
shred.
watchable the
Yeah,
rest of the year.
yeah, they're not watchable. There's not a reason to come on here and talk about the Rams anymore. They got their airtime. They suck. Sean McVay, he's probably head to retirement after this year. I mean, this is embarrassing.
Maybe.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a good theory with the Bears, right? Justin Fields, you get him in a Kyle Shanahan offense. We got to wait and see how a full year of Trey Lance pans out, but that would be nasty. Like, I feel like they'd have him slinging the rock, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle out there. Like, there's legitimate weapons where he's out there throwing to Dante Pettis in 2022. Like, it's pretty rough. And yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Anything else before we wrap it up? Move on. Week 11, where hopefully we beat the Colts.
Looking to bounce back. Eagles and the spread picks. Week 11 is going to be better.
For sure. Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Please like, subscribe, and comment. If you have any suggestions, please drop them below. Add us on Twitter. As always, Spotify link is in the description. And yeah, thank you for listening. We will be back with to unpack week 11. Hopefully the Eagles get back on the W train. And then, yeah, hopefully we flip around some of these spread picks and turn these records positive.